Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
Like that it affects almost all races.
Like that it affects millions.
That it can be unbearable.
That it's the most common genetic blood disease in the country.
But awareness and understanding are still far too uncommon.
Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
And that's a disease too.
Call the 211 info line to learn more.
Welcome to another episode of Face Sickle Cell Disease. My name is Virginia Pratiller. I serve as Executive Director for Citizens for Quality Sickle Cell Care, SCDAA, Northern Connecticut Chapter. Today I have with me, I'm so happy to introduce to you my guest, Miss Evelyn Richard. I have to share with you, Miss Richard is a person that I met maybe 4 or 5 years ago. She was the oldest person that we knew of with sickle cell disease. And today we're going to let her tell us her experience and share with you some of the things that her journey has brought into her life. So with no further ado, Miss Evelyn Richard, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Evelyn Richard. Like Miss Virginia said, I'm one of the patients she met with sickle cell. This disease is important to me that we get this information out to everybody that has it and to people that don't know they have it. So back to Miss Virginia, anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, I would like for you, if you don't mind, I know women usually don't like sharing their age, but I think because so many people hear about sickle cell and they think that people don't live long with this disease, I would like, if you feel okay with it, to share your age.
Sure. I'm 56. I feel a little older sometimes with this disease because it's tough. It's tough on the body. But it's a lot of people now that lives a long time with this disease. And it's all about taking care of yourself.
Can you tell me and the audience, when did you realize, or your family realize, that you had sickle cell disease?
Well, I was 3 months old when my parents found out that I had the disease. Before that, they didn't know or understand why I was so uncomfortable as a newborn. I would always cry. I just never was comfortable. And finally, it took a student doctor to find out exactly what was wrong with me. And it took 3 months. And even after finding out about this disease, my parents, it was nothing the doctor could tell my parents to make things comfortable for me as a child or as a newborn. They didn't have no information out back in the 50s, and my mother just had to go by her wits on it. Although and she had a sister with the disease, but see, she was born in mid-30s, and you know, nobody knew nothing about this disease. It was known that only African American females had this disease back then. Yeah. So they gave us. Today, when I look back at it, it's a lot of misinformation that they gave us back in those days. That's not true today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just to help those who may not know what sickle cell is, would you give us a definition of what sickle cell disease is?
Sickle cell disease is when your healthy red blood cells, nice and round, and a sickle cell patient they turn to, you want to call it a sickle or letter C, and they latches onto each other, and when they go through the arteries or blood vessels, it causes a lot of pain, a lot of stabbing pain, and you basically will be on some kind of narcotics for the rest of your life to deal with the pain. The pain, you can't imagine the pain. It's very, it's just awful. I wouldn't wish it on my best friend. But other than that, you know, it affects you in ways of stress. It affects you. Cold air is not good for this disease. Although I found some sickle cell patients, they like it cold, like air conditioning cold. Like me, I don't like nothing cold. But some of them can handle cold better than others. But it still makes us sick no matter what. We catch colds easy, or lung infections easy. So we have to be very careful when we come out. If we live up north, when you come out into that air, you got to be dressed really bundled up, just to stay out of the hospital. You know.
So how many children were born in your family with sickle cell disease?
I'm the oldest of 8. I'm the first one, so I have it, and after me, we have a set of twins that just have the trait, so nobody else among my siblings have the disease, just me.
Okay.
But I had, like I mentioned before, on my mother's side, my mother's sister has the disease. So it's like every other family.
Or would you say generation?
Generation.
Well, because we know that sickle cell doesn't skip generation.
No.
There's all probability and chance that one would have it, and that's dependent on the carriers of the disease.
Correct.
Of the gene. So tell me about some of the things that happened to you as a young woman, you know, growing up with sickle cell disease.
Well, when you're young, you don't understand why you are in a lot of pain, first of all. You know nothing about what's going on. And like I said earlier, nobody gave my mother information on it. Nobody had information on it. All I knew is I stayed, I would get very sick and in and out the hospital. I stayed from, I would say from birth to 13, I stayed in the hospital. Out of a year, probably like 6 months out of a year, I'd be in the hospital. So I didn't see my siblings much with this disease. The children that was in the hospital with me was my family, so I saw them more than I saw my siblings. But this disease affect me in ways, especially with my lungs. I always have issues with my lungs as far as pneumonia since birth. And you're not supposed to catch pneumonia a lot like that. But for some reason I catch it, and I'm still here. One thing, they told my parents that I wouldn't live to see 18, and I wouldn't give them grandchildren. Well, like I said, I'm 56 now, and I have a daughter that's 32, and she has 2 kids, 2 grandboys I have. So God has favored me well through this disease. I'm a fighter, and I hear that a lot from people around me. But I am a fighter. I want to be here, So I keep pushing on. Sometimes I ask myself, I don't know why, but I just love this earth God put us on. And I just want to be here as long as I can, you know.
Okay. After the age of, say, around 12, 13, what happened in your life then in terms of, in spite of this disease, what were you able to do?
Well, I noticed I changed the way I eat. I noticed meat didn't do as well. When you take narcotics, you get constipation, so you have to always take something for that. Meat helps binds you up more. So I noticed if, when I stopped eating it, I didn't have that problem. I wasn't so constipation, and then so I stuck with, you know, just the fish and vegetables and fruits and a lot of water. We have to drink a lot of water, not a lot of sodas or fruit juices, stuff with sugar. You need a lot of water to keep the blood thin, and so it'll go through the arteries smoothly. The problem with not drinking a lot of water, the blood get thick, and also with the sickling going on, that's when all this pain comes on, like you got a million people just stabbing you all over your body, you know, and you just at times wish you wasn't here. You just want to be put to sleep. And back then, that's what they did. And that's all they could do was give us something to put us to sleep until the episode was over with. And you wake up like nothing never happened, you know. But you know, in the back of my mind, I always stay scared of this disease because I know it's always going to come back and come back. So this is not over. When you're young and you're thinking like that, you get a little depressed because there's certain things, you know, I couldn't do with my friends, or if they play with me too rough, they parents would, you know, yell at them, you know, you can't play with Evelyn like that. And I get a little upset because I know how well I feel at that moment. So it's all right, you know. When I want to play, I want to play. And I'm a high-spirited person, so I was a high-spirited child. And, you know, my mother knew by the way, if I was quiet and just laying there, she knew in 24 hours she was going to be rushing me to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, but if I'm up, rambunctious, I mean, she got to pull me off the ceiling. I mean, I'm just having a good time that day. She know I'm all right. She has nothing to worry about. Although she want me to quiet down, but she know I don't have those many days where I feel great like that to play with my siblings like that, you know. And
so at one time, Evelyn, I understand you did drumming and dancing, and what was going on in that period of your life when you were doing that?
Once I start paying attention to my body, and I start feeling much better. There was an organization that lived around the corner from us, and they found out that I was a great dancer in the neighborhood. And my name would always come up. So this lady had a organization where she used to take the children off the street and whatever they did, singing, played instruments, whatever. Well, she had a lot of dancers, but she didn't know what to do with them, so she found out about me. So we end up making it must have been out of, say, 50 kids, we had 10 was dance groups. So I had to make up steps. I was a choreographer. I made up steps for each group. And out of that, it was one particular group that I became fond of, and I took them on as my own group. And Their name was Pee-wee's Unlimited. A lot of people know about them in Hartford.
Okay.
And we was very successful back in the day and doing very well.
Okay.
So God blessed me with, although doctors say I can't be I can't be with too much energy. I gotta rest. People with sickle cell, if you overdo it, you can bring on a crisis too. And I found out no matter what I do, I'm gonna get sick. I could just sit here and do nothing for the whole month. I'm still gonna get sick. So I just learned to just enjoy life, and so God blessed me to be a dancer, and then I got into bands and drummer. I love drums, so he took time with me and taught me how to play. So.
Okay, well, we're going to just wrap up this session and this episode right now, but we're going to come back and talk about that, because I think that what you're just sharing are some of the things, that I think young people with sickle cell disease need to understand, in terms of they can do anything in moderation. So we'll take a break. I thank you so much for this first part of just talking with you and getting to know you. And we'll be back in a few moments.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.